Fourth grade into math lesson 11.6. Compare fractions using common numerators and denominators. I can use common numerators or denominators to compare two fractions that have different numerators and denominators. Okay, so this is what we did on our last lesson, right guys? And we've been practicing up to this, except for we've just been getting common denominators before. But on the last lesson, we also added in common numerators. So when you do that, then all you have to do is compare two numbers, right? Okay, which makes it a little bit easier to step it out. Number one, he runs 7/12 of a mile. Lonnie runs 3/4 of a mile. Who runs farther? Okay, so use either a common denominator, or they want us to use a common denominator to compare the fractions. So they said 12 would be a good choice to use as a common denominator. Why would that be a good choice for the two fractions?
Because 12.
Is 12 a multiple of 4? Yeah. Okay. So B, use the relationship between 12 and 4 to write 3/4 as an equivalent fraction. Okay. So how did we get from 4 to 12? By 3, right? So what I do on the bottom, I also do on the top. So 3 times 3 is 9. So our new fraction is 9/12. We didn't have to change 7/12 because it already, 12 is already our denominator, right?
Yes.
Okay, so 7/12 is less than 9/12. Okay, so 9/12 was also equal to 3/4, right? So 7/12 is less than 3/4. So who runs further, Suki or Lonnie? Lonnie, right guys?
Oh, wait, yeah.
Okay, 7/12 was the least. So Lonnie, because 7/12 is less than 3/4. So we use our comparison and then just wrote it in word form, right? Mile. We should have put our label in there with that. Step it out. Number 2. Dorothy swims 2/5 kilometers. Duke swims 3/8 kilometers. Who swims farther? Use a common numerator to compare the fractions. So this time, last time we used denominators, which are on the what? Bottom. Okay, we're going to use numerators, which are on the top. So first of all, they want us to list the common multiples for each of those. So 2, where do we start? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, let's do 3. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Okay, which one? What's my least common multiple?
6.
Right? Okay, so they said they want 6 in the numerator spot. Is that on the top or the bottom? Top. So I'm going to put 6 for my new fraction, right? Okay, now how did I get from 2 to 6? By 3. And what I do on the top, I do on the bottom. So 3 times 5 is what? 15. So 2/5 is also equal to 6/15, right? So I'm going to go ahead and write that here, 6/15. Okay, how did I get from 3 to 6? Times 2. So what I do on the top, I also do on the bottom. So 2 times 8 is 16. So that is 6/16. So 6/15 is what? Is greater than. Why is it greater than? Not as many pieces, right? So the more pieces you get, the smaller they get, right? Okay, so we have to think about that just a little bit different on those, okay? So use what you learned to compare the two fractions in the problem. So 2/5 is greater than 3/8. Okay, so who swims farther? Dorothy, right? Dorothy. Farther. Because 6/15. Let's go back to our original fraction, right? 2/5 kilometer is longer or is greater than, let's go with our comparison symbols, is greater than 3/8 kilometer. So check understanding. Number 1, Ellie ran 5/6 mile on Monday and 7/8 mile on Tuesday. Did she run farther on Monday or on Tuesday? Explain. Okay, so we're going to put a line and put because. Okay, so once again, we either have to find a common numerator or a common denominator. All right, and this one, I think it would be the denominator that would be the easiest. Okay, so we need to say 5/6 equals something with our new denominator, right? And then 7/8 equals something with our new denominator. Okay, so if I did my multiples of 6 and 8, I would say 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. Okay, if I do my multiples of 8, I would say what? 8, 16, 24. Oh, did I hear something in common? 24. So 24 is going to be my new denominator. Okay, how did I get from 6 to 24? Times 4. So what I do on the bottom, I also do on the top. So what is 5 times 4? 20. Okay. Then how did I get from 8 to 24? Times 3. What I do on the bottom, I do on the top. So 7 times 3 is what? 21. Okay. So 20 24 is what?
Less than.
Is less than 21/24. So which one did she run further on, Monday or Tuesday? Tuesday. Okay, so it's harder for me to write down there when right here on the board. So I'm going to do my work over here to the side, but you guys can still do it underneath. Okay, so I have 2/3 and I have 7/8. And I need to get a new fraction. I need to get a new fraction. Okay, so let's do numerators on this one. Okay, so I could just do 7 times 2. What is that? 14. So we're going to say my new numerators are 14. Okay, how did I get, and I can draw a line here just to keep them separated. Okay, how did I get from 7 to 4 or 2 to 14? Times 7. So what I do on the top, I do on the bottom, and what do I get? 21. So 14, 21. Okay. How did I get from 7 to 14? Times 2. So what I do on the top, I do on the bottom. So 8 times 2 is 16. Okay. Now we have our numerator of 14 for both, right? Okay. Now, which is bigger, the 21 or the 16? The 16 in this case. Okay. So if it's numerators that we're comparing, then we go with the bigger number. But if it's denominators, we go with the smaller number, right? Because remember, that's how many pieces it's cut into. Okay. And then the more pieces you have, the smaller they get, right? Okay. So which one's bigger? The 16th, right? So 2/3 is less than 7/8. Okay, I really like using denominators just because then you kind of just look at the top and compare it, and you don't have to remember to go backwards essentially and go by the size of pieces. Does that make sense? Okay, so I prefer the denominator to be the same, but that's just me. If you like using the numerators, you can do that. You just have to remember that you're going by size of pieces. All right? Okay, all right, let's do number 3. Okay, so I have 2/5 and I have 4/10. Do I need to change both of those? No. So I can keep my 4/10 because can 5 have a denominator of 10? Yes, they can. 10 is a multiple of 5, right? So we're going to see our new denominator as 10. So how did I get from 5 to 10? Times 2. What I do on the bottom, I do on the top. So 2 times 2 is what? 4. So 2/5 is what? Equal to 4/10. Okay. Number 4. So I have 8/5 and I have 3/2. You guys want to do numerator or denominator? Denominator. Sounds good. Okay. So what can I just do? Can I take my denominators times each other? Yes. So what is 5 times 2? 10. So that is going to be my new denominator. Okay. So how did I move from 5 to 10? Times 2. What I do on the bottom, I do on the top. So 8 times 2 is 16. Okay. My next fraction, how did I get from 2 to 10? Times 5. What I do on the bottom, I do on the top. So 3 times 5 is 15. So when I go back here to my original problem, 8/5 equals 16/10 and 3/2 equal 15/10. So 8/5 is greater than 3/2.